Hi there, and welcome to Q&A Wednesday. It is that time again. I am Melissa Fillmore, and I have a great topic for you this afternoon. So excited to be here. It's been a crazy week, but school's out and the weather's getting warm, and I'm actually wearing shorts today. Super excited about that. Anyhow, so tonight we're actually going to talk about self-care. I think that this is a really super important topic, predominantly because I've had several of my clients lately really struggling with being able to fit everything that they want in their life. And, sometimes I have to bring up the fact that the quality of our lives is just as important as all the things that we're accomplishing. And you're talking to the woman who is, I'm a go-getter. I'm a workaholic. So, I know this from experience that, it's really easy to burn yourself out. And I'm very fond of telling people that, that the mental health, the emotional health, and the physical health, they're all wrapped together. And you can't really have one be healthy without the others playing a role. So, paying attention to your mental and emotional health is just as important as the physical part of it. And of course, again, they all intertwine and they support each other. So we're going to talk about exactly what self-care is. It's it's not something that, to me, it's a newer term. 43, that's not something that we really talked about. I know I'm kind of a generation where, especially as mothers, we tend to overdo it. We tend to put ourselves last. And put everybody else first, and it's just kind of, that's the way it is. And I don't think it's appropriate because we burn ourselves out. And I have a couple of examples that I'm going to be sharing with you this evening about that. But let's talk exactly about what self-care is. Self-care, and I actually looked up a specific definition because, I kind of, in my mind, know what it is, but I want to give you something that's very concrete. So this is from a website called Psych Central. So more about the psychology, and of course, again, everything is intertwined. And it says that self-care is any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. Okay. Anything, right? It is key to improved mood, reduced anxiety, and it's also a key to a good relationship with ourselves. And if you think about it, it doesn't matter who else you have relationships with in your life. You will always have a relationship with yourself, right? Because you are you. And so being able to be happy with who you are and happy with your life, I don't really know anybody who is, their goal is to be negative or to be unhappy or sad or depressed. Like, I don't know that is anyone's goal in this life. So, making sure that you are fulfilling whatever it is that you were created to be here for, and being happy and fulfilled about that, I think is really important. I really think that taking care of yourself is crucial for a quality of life. And if it's kind of like, if you think about it, everything that you've done up to this point in your life, one way or another will affect you for the rest of your life. Case in point, having lived a very unhealthy lifestyle up until my mid-30s, first of all, granted, I've learned some things, and so it's a little different, but, it plays such a huge role into how my body responds to things now. I'm very aware that in my family history that type 2 diabetes is something that I would have to deal with if I wasn't being a healthier person. And so, if I was choosing not to take care of myself, that would determine possibly in my later years in my retirement that I might not live a very healthy lifestyle or a very quality lifestyle, and I might be very dependent upon other people to take care of me, and that is absolutely not my goal. So, I also am aware that a lot of people think that, hey Marilyn, that taking care of themselves is a little more, it's indulgent, it's selfish, and I think it couldn't be further from the truth. I've used this analogy before, but if you've ever been on a plane and the stewardesses get up, I know they don't call them that anymore, but they get up and they give you kind of the little spiel that if you lose cabin pressure and the masks fall down, that you are to put that on yourself first before helping your child beside you. And the point is that you can't help your child if you are dead. So you have to help you in order to help other people. So there's a lot of benefits to taking good care of yourself. And of course, we're going to hit all the different aspects of that. But the benefits of taking care, so part of it is knowing, being aware that you need to take care of yourself. I do want to hit that topic really quick because I think a lot of times we are so used to just going through the motions and just living without really living and paying attention, that it's really easy to kind of get wrapped up into what's going on. I do it. I get so wrapped up in taking care of everybody else that I forget that I have to take care of myself. And that's how I hit burnout. And it happens. So it's taking care of yourself is not, it's not self-indulgent. It's basically self-preservation. It's making sure that you can, again, function at capacity where whatever you're currently doing, you can continue to do. I saw this cute quote, and it says, self-care plus self-awareness equals self-love, right? And that's, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you? So I think that's important as well. When it comes to self-care, it's partially how you deal with stress. It's whether or not you're getting a good amount of sleep. If you're lacking sleep, that can play a huge role in whether or not you are caring for yourself. Your nutrition, obviously, that's going to be a big one to me. Do you take breaks? Do you take a vacation? That's when I struggle with. I'm really bad about working 7 days a week, even if it's just a little bit each day, but I tend to really struggle to take time off. And so that's something that I'm still working with. But a big part of that is, preventing illness and preventing disease by overdoing it physically with your body, but also mentally and emotionally. Benefits of self-care. Okay. I mean, this is a good one. Again, we talked about quality in your later years, later in life, that the better that you take care of yourself now. I find it really interesting, and I don't know if this is just a guy thing, that, guys in general don't like to go to the doctor. I don't know if your guys like that. My husband doesn't like the dentist. He doesn't like the doctor. And if he doesn't have to go, he doesn't. There is no preventative maintenance going on there. But the problem with that is, what could you catch early on that, might affect you later? If you would take care of it. There's a lot of like diseases and things that can be caught early on and taken care of. And if you aren't having regular checkups with your doctor, or, even things, a lot of people think that massage is an indulgence. To be honest, if I didn't have a massage every other week, I would not be able to move at this point in my life. I've got some significant neck and back issues. And of course I lift heavy enough that when I don't, my body responds in not a good way. So, taking care of those things now will allow me to, as I get older, still be able to do all the things that I love to do. And to me, that's really important. I am thinking about the future. Self-care does help prevent burnout. I heard once somebody describe herself at one point that she felt like she was a rusty bucket, and that, it was really a struggle to hold water. She given and given and given out of that bucket, that no longer was that bucket shiny and new. That's called burnout. When you are so, you given and given and given, like I said, especially as parents, we tend to do that a lot. Especially when we're self-employed, that too. When we're employed full time and we're parents and we're, spouses, we have so many people taking from us, which I know is important. But if you don't refill that bucket, if you don't replenish yourself, you're going to become that rusty bucket. You're going to be really burned out. I struggle sometimes with my clients because they have these incredibly intense jobs. Now, I know that those jobs have to have people do them. They're very important, whether it's nursing or, obviously they're important. However, sometimes those jobs pull so much from them that they have nothing left to give. They're very intense. And I want to talk more about this later because, again, everything that you do is your choice. And I know that can be a struggle for some people to understand. When people say, well, I just can't because my job requires that I do this. Well, you're the only one that can choose to have that job. And yeah, it might suck to take a different job. It might be less pay. It might be not as good of a medical plan. But again, I personally can't work a job that makes me work 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. That would absolutely burn me out. So, making sure that you are taking steps to make sure that you don't burn out, because if you've done that before, if you've been to the brink of that, it's debilitating to be in that position. Okay, number 3. It helps to reduce the mental and emotional and physical effects of stress. We all deal with stress. They talk these days about how many people are seriously just dealing with so much stress, and then their body continuously is releasing cortisol, which of course can make it hard to lose weight. It can make it, adrenal fatigue and failure is a real thing, which can be a pretty big impact on everything else in your life. Being able to deal with the stresses of life is super important. And when you're not giving yourself that self-care, you are not giving yourself ammunition to be able to combat that. Number 4, believe it or not, it does make you more productive. When you're taking time off, when you're taking good care of yourself, when you're eating well, all those things, you are going to be able to function better, whether it's at your job, whether it's, even if it's at things that you love to do. If you find that you don't have enough energy to do whatever your hobbies are or the things that you love, you might need to take a look at what's going on. Because it's hard to be productive when you don't feel good, right? And I know that feeling. It also helps improve your resistance to disease. All disease, personally believe that all disease starts in the gut, but that's a whole topic for another day. But when you're not taking care of yourself, why would you assume you're going to get better? That should be a no-brainer. That should be common sense. But, if you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, if you're not doing those things, if you're not seeing the doctor, if you're not getting enough rest, enough sleep, how's your body going to heal? That's really important. Hey, Paul. How you doing, bud? So it does help improve your resistance to disease. It does help you become more self-aware. Most of us do know enough about ourselves in order to, know what we like to do. The great thing about being in my 40s is, first of all, I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks, but I'm fairly aware of how I work and what I like and what I like to. I know that I'm an introvert. I'm an outgoing introvert, but I personally like to be alone in order to build my energy back up. So I know that because I've paid enough attention. I've done enough, just spending some time by myself, having some quiet time. I've been really good. My New Year's resolution, even though, I don't like those, the last couple of years has been to be better to myself and do things to help take care of myself, such as, spend some time alone, meditate. I don't always do that, but, quiet time, that's pretty much my meditation. Sometimes I'll go do some yoga. I actually, once in a while, will get a massage, not just for deep tissue. So I do those things for myself because I'm aware that that's what I need in order to keep functioning at my best ability. It also helps me to be a little bit happier and have a more joyful life. If you are aware of what makes you happy, which most of us are, then you can go do those things. And that is part of self-care. It also allows you to have more to give. Like I said, I love what I do. I love the fact that I help coach and work with people. But if I am not taking good care of myself, I don't have the ability to do that. And to me, that's really important that I have that energy. I love to be high energy. Everybody knows I struggle about competition time because I'm very low energy. But I want to be able to give people my best. So that's important to me as well. So it's going to be different for different people. We're all different. We all have different goals. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different things that we love to do. Like golf. I can't seem to get into that one. So if you all are golfers, that is awesome. I'm glad you love it. Not my gig. But again, if that's something that makes you feel good, it makes you calm and it really helps you enjoy life, do it. It's whatever that helps you to be the happiest and helps you to be your best. So here are some tips. Now, if you Google this or if you hit Pinterest, you're going to come up with a zillion different lists of 50 ways to show self-care, whatever, be my guest. It can be a little overwhelming, but these are the ones that I kind of came up with that, with very basic things that most of us should be doing in order to be at our best and have self-care. So number 1 is to live on purpose. Like I said, so many times we just kind of go through life and all of a sudden, a month is gone and then a year is gone. And all those things that we keep saying, tomorrow I'm going to start that diet. I'm going to go do some exercise. I'm going to take a trip. I'm going to go see my kids in another state that I never get to see. And then all of a sudden life is done. There's no way. You have to live on purpose. Just like you cannot be healthy healthy without being on purpose. You can't do it by chance. If you're living by chance, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get whatever it is that comes. So in order to have the best life, you should choose what you're doing and where you're going with that. And the second one is just as important, and I just kind of referred to that. Stop saying I'll do it later. If going on a trip is something that you really want to do, save up for it now. Go do it now while you have energy and can fulfill that at the moment. This is an important one. I know a lot of people struggle with this. I used to. I do much better with it, but you need to learn to say no. So many people they just, whether it's they want people to like them or they just really struggle to tell people no, that can be very, very overwhelming. And it also reduces your value to other people, that if they feel like you're just going to take care of it or you're going to jump in and, how you have that person that waits till the very last minute and then you take care of it for them. Yeah, you're just enabling them. So learn to say no, especially if really, if you're not going to be appreciated for it. I think it's really important that you pick and choose where you spend your time. We all have the same 24 hours a day. It's up to you to choose to do with it what you want to do with it, right? Granted, I choose to use some of those hours to go work out, right? Don't take life so seriously. Now, I'm going to tell you I struggle with this one. I always tell my husband I'm the party pooper. I do take life sometimes way too seriously. I overthink everything. I already know that about my personality. But that's something that I'm really working on, is taking a step back and really enjoying things in life and remembering what it's like to laugh. And again, not always an easy task for me because I'm so focused on what I'm trying to accomplish, but it is important. Same with this one. Don't be a workaholic. You gotta take a break. Last year we took a trip, and it had been 7 years since my husband and I had actually taken a trip. And I'm not gonna lie, out of a 7-day trip, it takes me the first 2 to 3 days just to calm down. And then by the time we're ready to get on a plane, my brain's already back to work. But it's important because, again, we all need that break. We need that time to just recover and be able to give more of ourselves. I have a couple of clients who I remind them very frequently, because, they keep saying, well, I could take on more hours. I could do more work. Granted, money's always great. And, nobody who is broke ever said that, they were super happy not being able to pay for things. But the problem is that you can't help people if you are dead. You cannot help people if you have nothing left to give. So in order to be back in a position where you can do that, you have to take a break. You have to take some time off. And I've been better about that. I am. I'm sometimes I struggle with it, but I've been better about that. Learn to turn your phone off. I know that we talk about this as a culture anymore, that a lot of times we get so hooked on electronics, and it can do some damage in certain issues. But I think that when we're always looking to respond to the phone, and then we don't have quality relationships in life, and then we wonder why we're not happy. So learn to turn it off, especially, if you're with your family or your loved one. Give them your attention. You can't give them your attention if you're always, looking on Facebook. Eat for the nutrients. This is a really great one because I know a lot of times we think, well, we're just eating for the calories, but it's not true. Food is fuel, people. And so, again, when it comes to being able to heal, if you have an injury or you are ill, if you're eating a bunch of garbage and processed food, how is your body going to heal from that? That's not how it works. You have to eat quality ingredients. You have to eat whole foods. You need minerals and vitamins that those provide in order to be able to heal. So keep that in mind, that you don't have to eat perfect all the time, but making sure that the majority of your food comes from healthy ingredients is really important. Be organized. Oh, good Lord. This is one for me. I love to be organized. I struggle to get organized. So if you are like me and you struggle to get organized, it is okay to ask for help. That should be a whole one all on its own. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But when you're in clutter and a mess, and whether it's your schedule, whether it's your house, whether it's your office, it's really hard to be happy and to be functional and to be efficient. So if you're not organized, that's something to do. Guys, I know it's summer, spring cleaning's kind of gone at this point, but if you are not clean and organized, it might be time to do so. So keep that in mind. Have some quiet time. This one is not a problem for me. Once in a while, I love my family dearly, and I love to do stuff with them because that is the majority of my life. I have most of my time with my family, and I love that. But once in a while, I need a night by myself, and I'm not afraid to go somewhere, maybe hit a hotel or a spa and just spend some time by myself. That's not a bad option as well. Sometimes you need to get quiet in order to solve some problems, in order to really kind of reset. So do what you have to do to make that work. But, somebody once said, if you threw a party and you were the only one to show up, would you have a good time? And my response was, oh my gosh, I totally would, because I know what I would do if I'm all by myself. I'm enough self-aware, like I said, at this point in my 40s, that I'm quite happy with what I do with my time and the way that I spend my time alone. Let's see. I just want to make sure. So, and some people, just to take that one step further, some people meditate. I struggle to hold still that long. I might make it 5 minutes, and that's about it. Once in a while, I'll go do yoga. I love hot yoga because it allows my muscle to stretch back out. Whatever it is that works for you. I'm good massage. My husband gave me a spa day for my birthday. Oh my word, it was the best 3 hours ever. I think it snoozed through the whole thing, but it was awesome because I struggled to relax. So that was a good one. And within those times of either spending time alone or spending time with friends, whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, or whatever, it's important to recharge. Now, of course, that involves sleep. And I haven't hit that one as much, but if you are not getting enough sleep, your body is not resetting, you are not going to be able to function at full capacity. So as we get older, I know it's a little bit more of a struggle, whether it's because we've got too much on our mind or because we have so much stimuli in our lives that it's really hard to turn it off. But there are things that you can do in order to make sure that you are getting sleep. You're just gonna have to put some time and effort into it. So just like everything else, you're gonna have to do it on purpose. I know I have multiple clients that really struggle to get enough sleep, and we've kind of talked about some ways to work around that. And worst case scenario, talk to your doctor. They can help you with that, right? Avoid unhealthy coping. Okay, this is a good one. If you really are looking to outside sources for comfort or for dealing with stress, and we're talking about things like excessive alcohol, medication or drugs, or even eating food. I'm very aware that I still struggle once in a while not eating my feelings. There are resources to take care of that. And of course, if you can't take care of that on your own, there is professional help that you can get for that. But there's never a benefit to continuing to go in that direction because, of course, your health is going to be at stake. My biggest one, and this is a good one, avoid negative people and circumstances. So sometimes I know that that's not easy to do, especially if it's family, or especially if they're coworkers and you really don't have another option. But if you can avoid, nobody wants to be around negative people. And you know what? People are either positive or negative. There's no in between. And granted, we're all positive and negative at certain times of our lives, but you can choose. I think the biggest point that I'm trying to make with this whole thing is that self-care is a choice. Kind of back to the job issue. Again, I know that there are jobs that have to be fulfilled. I know, we have to have nurses in the ERs and they have to work some crazy, crazy hours. I know that there are certain jobs that, if nobody takes, we would be at risk as people. But again, you're the only one that can choose that job. And if your supervisor is not willing to, give you your breaks or allow you to eat when necessary or, get enough sleep, you are the only one that can make that choice. You are the only one over your schedule, and you're the only one that can control that. There's always other options. And I know that it probably doesn't sound like that. You might have to be very creative. For some of us, we've chosen to start our own businesses. But whatever it is that you choose to do, the way that you choose to have self-care is completely up to you. And I really want you to think about that. Think about what is it that you can do today to make those changes, because I want you to be the healthiest. And we're not just talking physical. Mental and emotional health play a huge role there. So make sure that you're doing what it is that makes you happy and healthy. Okay, I know that there's things that we could do that make us happy that aren't so healthy. So keep that in mind, that self-care is about you being the best you that you can be, and pretty much providing a really great quality of life for the rest of your life that you're on this earth. So anyway, that is I know I'm ranting just a little bit, but I really want you to understand how important I think this is. I work with a lot of people, and I really see how not taking care of themselves in some of these areas can really affect not just the quality of life, but even their physical aspect of being able to accomplish what they're trying to with their health goals. So have an incredible evening, you guys. I will be in San Francisco this weekend, so no meals with Melissa this weekend either. But we will be back to normal because I got some good ones. And hey, if anybody is starting to grow zucchini yet, hit me up because I could use some, and I don't have the ability to grow those kind of things right now. I've got some great recipes for zucchini. So have an incredible evening, you guys, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.